Okay, thank you so much, Kanai-san. Hello, everyone. My name is Osan, and I have been running my own creative agency in Tokyo, but I'm also doing a lot of other entrepreneurial activities in Tokyo. And Kanai-san and I met a couple of months um, before, and we, you know, talked about subsidies and grants, what he does, what I do, and basically how we found together was I am in a transition phase of um, from sole proprietor to having my own company. And I have been running my agency as a sole proprietor, kojinjigyo nushi, for those who are familiar with the term. And then someone was like, well, why don't we apply for subsidies while you do the transition? And I was like, well, that's not possible, is it? And he was like, no, it is possible. So we started discussing more back and forth. And yeah, we were thinking of why not throwing an informal, basically informative event about subsidies and grants in Japan. And yeah, here we are. Thank you so much for signing up. Um, we actually have more signups than anticipated, which is pretty cool. Um, even having 11 participants right now online, it's very nice to see. So yeah, I don't know. I'm really excited about this. Kanai-san, what do you think? How do you feel right now? We have 11
I
participants,
am very
nine
much
if we
excited. And I think more people will come in, but we're going to start and some people can take a look at the webinar recordings later on.
Yeah.
So I'm not very used to doing a big webinars. In fact, I did a lot of webinars, Ozan and I did in the past, but with this project, we are doing it for the first time. Well, I did it last January on a very tested basis, sample basis, and got some information to build my business on. Now it's about a year since then, and a lot of things happened, and I want to share those, everything with you, and you can ask me questions about what your questions may be you have had. I've been kind of screaming out loud in LinkedIn last month or so, or 1 month or so. You might have noticed, and that may be why you somewhat accidentally involved in this webinar tonight. So please raise a hand, but I'm going to do what we're going to do is probably 30 minutes presentation. I usually speak a lot. I can go on like hour or hour and a half, go on and on. But I think tonight I want you to speak up and talk about yourself, your situations, and what kind of questions you have. And I can, as much as I can, answer those questions. That's what I have in mind. So let me share what I have tonight with you, and we're going to go through that for the first 30 minutes, and for about an hour or so, if we can, talk about what it really is about, and what you can do about it. Okay, so let's start. I'm going to share my screen, a lot of things in my desktop. So let me see what I can do. Here is the thing. Japanese subsidies and public finance. How can non-Japanese startups maximize the benefits of Japanese subsidies and public finance? That's the issue I've been working on. And you might have come across this kind of thing for the first time, but let me explain what I have learned about a year. I mean, let me introduce a little bit about myself. I think you've seen my LinkedIn profile, but I went to university in the US, University of Washington in Seattle, and graduated and worked for Deloitte, Arthur Andersen, Goldman Sachs, UBS, and got independent and started online investment school. And it was one of the largest online investment school in Japan at the time. But I got out of it and I've been somewhat independent and now started out this subsidy advisory business. And I just want to share it with you from all other experiences too. Okay, let's go. Let me see. Okay, what we're going to talk about, 4 things. What are, sorry, my wrong grammar, grant subsidy and startup finance that we've been talking about. And 2, 4 quadrants that are kind of posted in LinkedIn and started talking about startups and 4 categories of startups and case studies that I've gone through in the past year. And I'm going to talk about the 4 major subsidies and the question and answer. Incidentally, yesterday, Ishiba government passed the maybe looking about the supplementary thing, a budget. It just passed. It just was approved yesterday, and I just found today 3 subsidies that I'm going to talk about today just announced they're opening up the applications after they decide who the outsourced administrators will be. They are going through some kind of type of auction. Some big businesses who can handle the administration will be selected for those subsidy administration, and probably in a month or so, everything will start. A lot of subsidies that we're talking about today will be opening up very, very quickly. Wait, what's going on? Okay, that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So first of all, definitions, please. We need to clarify what we are talking about. First, grants is joseikin in Japanese. Those Japanese characters. That's basically the financial assistance from the Ministry of Health and Welfare. It's related to employment and employment tax. It's paid out of those pension and other employment-related taxes like the unemployment tax and so forth. And it's generally targeted to the employment or reskilling, education of employees and so forth. The benefits of the employees in general. Subsidies is different. Subsidies, in my word, joseikin is really, the government subsidize, meaning that pay partially to help your business grow, or your sales, new start of the new projects and so forth. That's what we call subsidies. Sometimes, like a TMG, Tokyo Metropolitan Government, say joseikin instead of hojokin. It's confusing. So it's kind of commingled. It's not, definitions are not that well clearly defined, but please let me use these definitions. And startup financing, usually called 創業融資. Usually means bank loans, business loans. But it's really a financing. Oftentimes, Japan Finance Corporation, for short, JFC, makes the loan. In addition, local banks like Kiraboshi or Shinyo Kinko everywhere in Tokyo or around Japan, or Shinyo Kumiai, or maybe even Nogyo Kyodo Kumiai, is that agricultural association. Those provide startup loans, but interestingly, JFC is the one who does most of the startup financing. Local banks are hesitant. They only do it when the loan guarantee corporation provides the guarantee. You have to pay guarantee fee to get the loan. But what's generally called proper loan, what they call proper loan, meaning that they make their own loan at their own risk. They don't want to do it for startups. So it's much easier to deal with Japan Finance Corporation. Up to like 72 million yen is the loan amount. That's the max amount. And Japanese government has been working hard to loosen up the restrictions, and also personal, or what they call management guarantee for those business owners. Used to be they had to put personal guarantee to get the loan at all. Otherwise, no way, small businesses could get a loan from a bank. But the regulations change. You don't have to put your personal guarantee anymore since last year. It's the law. So when you talk to those, financial institutions, please don't put your personal guarantee. It's too risky. I know that very, very much. Okay, anyways, let's move on now. Okay, this is the 4-quadrant that I've been talking about. And we right here, this right here, seed or small startups. Many of you, joining today are the startups, I think. And, there are many kinds of startups, many goals, many intentions, starting, one's own business. But with some people, especially those, government-assisted, famous assistance, is targeted to make unicorns and IPOs. That's the last few years people are talking about, and a lot of business people moving to Japan to do that. But as I wrote in my article on LinkedIn, unicorns and IPOs are only few, handful of businesses as compared to the number of small businesses or new startups in Japan. So it's not the only way, but going to mid to large, or growing business is another goal, and there should be alternative to VC financing. That's what we're talking about tonight. Okay, so I've been talking about case studies and so forth. I could have prepared, a number of 100 pages of case studies, but I'm going to just summarize what the major case studies I've had last year or this year. Okay, one is the for small business startups. I helped an American guy from Silicon Valley who's in augmented reality business, wanted to start up a company. So I helped him incorporate and helped him get a loan from JFC. He wanted 50 million plus 20 million from local bank, 50 million from JFC and 20 million from local banks. But I got him when we went to talk to JFC. They kind of always, I usually see JFC what do you call it, discount or reduce the amount as compared to what you apply for. He applied for 15, but he only got 5 million. But what they said was, we can give you 5 million. He had no sales at all, just a few months after incorporation. But he had an extensive experience in Silicon Valley, and I helped him prepare a very extensive Japanese business plan. So what they said was that we can give you the financing for your POC, proof of concept project, and get actual SaaS contract, a good contract. If you can do it, if you can show that, you're going to consider additional, like a 50 million yen loan at that point in time. And also, I helped him 2.5 million yen small business subsidy for POC to finance the POC. That's the first case study that I've done. Now, after that, right here, I just completed applying for 16 million yen, what's called remote island employment subsidy in Yakushima, which is south of Kyushu, Kagoshima prefecture. It's a small island, but it's very famous for what do you call it? World Heritage, UNESCO World Heritage. And this right here, he has built his own house called Kyorei, and he wanted to make this more of an ecotourism place. So he needed funding. He himself invested 20 million yen of his own money. He really needed a subsidy. Also, I helped him 60 million yen. We visited. I did it remotely, but he visited Yakushima Island town office and showed his general business plan, not detailed yet, general business plan, and asked their advice. This is kind of thing that we should do, especially when you are applying for a local subsidy. The relationship and some advice from those local or office people are very, very important. They can tell you what to do, what not to do, what they are expecting and so forth. If you do that, you have a very, very good likelihood that your project will be approved. And I think this is what we're doing, and they really liked his project. And I said it like 5 times when we were talking about an hour or so. So this is another one. We're expecting this to be approved in 1 or 2 months. Another one is this thing, is more of a seed, small startup to, they are targeting IPO. I don't know if they're going to be a unicorn, but 20 million startup loan from JFC, just November, October. Yeah, it was October. And we're now working on 50 million Monozukuri subsidy. As soon as Monozukuri subsidies open up, we can apply for it right away. So this thing is 50 million yen Monozukuri subsidy. They get really the financing for the entire project, or entire project for the mobile functionality in addition to the cloud functionality. Okay? Now another one, just got inquiry from I'm sorry, I can't remember his name, but that guy does. Sorry if you are attending, right? Want to do provide advisory or transactional service for Japanese small businesses whose owners are retiring and want to have some investor or businesses to buy out their small businesses in Japan without firing employees. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about that tonight, but that's available. That's available. Succession and M&A subsidy is available for such activity, for such a business. Okay, these are the things how you can use in these four quadrants. This is very, very interesting, don't you think? And like you to really, fully utilize and, max out the value out of these things that you thought would only available to Japanese. Yeah, these are available to you guys too. Okay, so startup growth stages we're going to talk about. This is also, I just posted it here a few days ago. The startup growth stages, if you think about it, from initial investment to, idea stage to, prototype stage and to initial growth and growth expanding stage, all those startup stages. And as far as cash flow is concerned, your cash flow goes down first, deep, and your own money will go, depleted to the end. And at some point, when sales starts, it goes up, and it goes through the break-even point somewhere, and after that you make profits. But not many startups can do that. But those subsidies can help you go through the whatever you call it, or chasm, or whatever. First of all, right here, small business subsidy can help you expand your sales channel. Monozukuri subsidy can help you develop the prototype. And also, when your organization starts to grow and you need teams and organizations and processes, operations, you can have IT implementation subsidy for your company or for your clients too. I'm going to talk about that a little later. And also, I talked about the business succession and M&A subsidy. When your company is big enough, you want to sell out or you want to retire, you can use a subsidy to do that. And also, if your company doesn't go anywhere, you can do a business restructuring subsidy. There are kinds, all these are for Japanese SMEs, small businesses, but even if you are a sole proprietor, individual business people, most of these are available to individual business people as well. For example, small business subsidy, if you apply for it as a person individually, you can transfer the approval to the new corporation, depending on some condition, but you can do that. So individual businesses are included in this concept. Okay. Next, okay, today this thing came out. I was so surprised. Yesterday, Ishiba government passed the supplemental budget, and that's people like me, subsidy advisory consultants, were looking for, waiting for a long time, like last 6 months or so. Nothing was going on because the Democratic Party was really struggling, and government officials are waiting for that to really come to the end. And that did yesterday. Today, Monozukuri subsidy, this thing came out. This is a really new thing. And just want to talk about and who's eligible, small business and SME. And there are definitions. Ask me when we meet together. We're going to have individual consultant meeting at your request. Let's see. Sorry. How can I do that? How can I go back? Okay. And what expenses? This is monozukuri means mono means things or product or services. And tsukuru means to make. So it's product making, service making subsidy. When you are developing a prototype or when you are developing a new service, new product, you can use this. How much? Depending on the size of your company, 7.5 million to 25 million yen. That's the exact number they just put out. This is what they're going to do. And how long it's going to take after your application? It takes 3 months for them to approve, and about 7 months for the project, and a request for the subsidy, and to have the subsidy in your bank. So you need to have something like 1 year long business plan to do it. It's not money you get upfront and you can use it for anything. It's this type of subsidy is you have to spend and they will pay you after the project is completed. So you need to have some kind of a financing or your own money, but we have a way to solve that too. We can get a financing, just we talked about. And also, when you get approval from these administration, you can get a subsidy for the approved subsidy. I mean, it's financing for the approved subsidy. Okay, this is a monozukuri. Next one is IT implementation subsidy. This is for the subsidy when you are implementing your DX projects, or if it's money forward, free, some kind of project management software, CRM, you name it. As long as you are doing the to make your business more efficient, there are a lot of registered softwares available for you to do that. And interestingly, I just talked about the medical platform startup. We are helping them on Monozukuri Subsidy, but also at the same time, IT implementation subsidy. And they are not going to implement in their company, but they are going to register their software as an eligible IT implementation tool. It means you can sell your software, application, or product to your customers, and your customers will be able to get this IT implementation subsidy. This coverage is 50% and up to 4.5 million yen. So it means government will pay you 4.5 million yen of the 9 million yen sales. They get 50% off of your product when you register your software in this subsidy, and you become a service provider under this subsidy. Something like that, you can do it, and you can kind of double benefit monozukuri and IT implementation. This is the kind of thing Japanese companies, a lot of them are doing, and people, non-Japanese people, just don't know what's going on. This is something that I can do for you. Okay, so next one, is a business succession M&A subsidy. Finally they called it M&A subsidy. Really, they didn't call it that way, but this time, just today, they announced this thing, and they called it 事業継承 and M&A 補助金, meaning that business succession and M&A. So you can, when you sell your business after, making your business successful and, making a lot of sales and you want to get out of it and start a new business or something, you can use something like this to sell your company. Who's eligible? Small business and SME. When I say small business, I'm going to talk about next. But small business and SME are a little different, so I'll be careful. What expenses? Consulting fee, and also machinery and equipment, and payments for experts, consultants, expenses, and so forth. They subsidize up to 10 million yen. And how long it takes? 1 month to approve. They do it very quickly. 5 months for the project. So if you can finish out the project, you can apply for the payment much earlier than end of 5 months. So if you plan for it, you can get the subsidy, somewhat, less than this period. This is the longest that it's going to take. Please note that you need to kind of 1 or 2 months to really understand and prepare for it. You need to prepare business plans and so forth. That's kind of time consuming, but business advisor person, something like me, can help you do that. So you don't have to spend hours and hours, dealing with documentations and business plans and number crunching and so forth. Okay. The last one is Small Business Sustainability Subsidy is really the real name. And this has not been announced today. This was not announced today. The reason is, I think they are changing a little bit from the last application. So I think that's why they're changing it a little bit. And this is from the last application, so this might change. But what it is that this is for real small businesses, 5 or less employees for service industry, or 20 or less for manufacturing and like a tourism, hotels and so forth, 20. So that's what defined as a small business. What expenses? In general, sales channel development, including participating events, something like Sushi Tech, like is a CES in Las Vegas, Monozukuri World, something like that, 2.5 million yen, but you pay all those participation expenses, travel expenses, travel and lodging included, and if you are to put boards and flyers and those things, desks, those payments are also included, and also advertisements and development of website, payment for developing a product also included, and so forth. 2.5 million yen, it's not that big, but if you are just starting out and just setting up your website, or just want to participate an event, which is very important in Japan, it is very handy, and it is probably one of the easiest to get approved. How long it takes? After you apply for it, it takes 3 months. You have to wait 3 months to get approval, 4 months for the project, but you can finish it earlier than that, and probably a few weeks, up to a month, to get the amount subsidy in your bank account. Okay, these are what I prepared for today. And you are giving me questions. Okay, let me see. Oh, I have more.
Tom, thank you so much for
Okay,
your
yeah.
explanations. We already have one question coming up. Everyone, please send your questions in the chat, and then we'll try to go through them one by one so that we don't have too much of a chaos going on. If you have any questions about setting up a business in Japan, feel free to send me a private message because those things are two separate topics, and I also do business incorporation in Japan. So, Kanai-san, the first question we have is, will the sustainability subsidy amounts remain the same for the new program?
The new program, you mean that the one announced today as compared to, the ones in the past? Yeah,
Brian,
amounts
is
are
that
almost the
was
same.
what you, yeah, Brian, is that what you meant?
The one announced today, you mean there was a
Yeah, so you were saying that they announced, is that a new program that they're announcing or a revision of a previous iteration of a sustainability subsidy?
yeah, it's a reiteration. They've said that 370 billion yen. I said in the article 200 billion yen, but it was increased to 370 billion yen when they were approved. And every time they change a little bit. And this time they're changing it. They're kind of reorganizing, making it simple. That's what they say. But I don't think amounts will change substantially. It's just minor change. That's what I expect.
So maybe some of the categories or
Right.
other
Simplified
technologies
categories. Yeah.
related to the sustainability
Right.
aspect.
Yeah. New business, startup category is still there. And also wage increase category will be there too. They talk about. But there are a couple of other categories. I think they will be deleted. And, probably like a regular small business and wage increase, probably three categories. Regular category is 500,000 yen. But if you get a startup program certificate, one-page thing I've been talking about, if you get that certificate, it increases up to 2 million yen. And with invoice registration, it gets up to be 2.5 million yen. And it's one of the easiest to get approved.
Perfect. Thank you. Yes, that's something definitely that we'll be looking at and reviewing the procedures going forward. So, one last question. You said that the programs are just recently revised. Is that something that we'll have to wait till the end of January for these programs to be open for application?
We never know. Usually it takes about a month till the administrator is selected. We'll see. We'll see. Probably next year. Maybe this is close to the end of the year. Probably middle of January at least. We might see some kind of announcement. But they have to decide who's going to take care this administration. Receiving the applications and answering questions and call center and and so forth. That's somebody will take care of it for the government. Government will not do that.
Right. And the reason I ask is most of the other subsidy programs that the government had rolled out in previous iterations and different cycles, those usually start the end of January, correct? And then go on for a designated period of time.
It's not, when they don't decide. It moves around. Last year, in this December, they had one, small business. I think there was application, and like March, is another one. And May, that's how last year went. And after that, they usually like, goes up to like, August and maybe like November. But August and November didn't happen. So people were kind of surprised. It didn't come. They're waiting for it. And they've called up the administration and they said, no, it's already closed. And that means that the supplementary budget has to be approved before they can start again. That's just happened. Yeah, yesterday. So it's just a minor change. And as soon as the outsourced administrator is selected, they're going to start probably January, sometime in January, I would say. Yeah. And usually the application window extends out only 3 weeks to apply. And please note that that sheet of paper a certificate of completion of startup program is necessary for, this is the probably only subsidy that requires something like that for the increased amount. It takes 4 weeks to complete. So you want to start now, otherwise it will be too late. And, just not submitting the list of documents, just one document, you will be disapproved. You don't qualify, even though your business plan is so good, everything else is so good. But if you miss one document, you don't get approved at all.
Sorry, just one last thing. Can you provide a link to the sites where we go through or get that registration so we can get that certificate?
It depends on where you live. Like Setagayaku, I just recommended Emil. I don't know Emil is here or not. To start Setagayaku project, and today was the last date to apply for it. So he was kind of very nervous. But Emil is here. Okay.
Yeah, he actually Emil made it. He said, "I just applied for that certificate course yesterday.
Yeah.
Today is the closure date for Setagayaku."
Yeah. So
Hey.
yeah,
Emil,
yeah.
long time no
Just
see.
We've been
quickly,
talking about that for a long time.
yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
I applied for that one.
Yeah. Like Adachiku, I called up Adachiku or Matsudo City. They close up and they're not going to do it until like next April or something. Yeah, there are places like that. So you want to be careful. You want to get the thing done. Once you get done, I think you can apply for something like small business like 3 years or 5 years. So once you get it, you can apply for small business anytime. But if you don't have it, you are in trouble by the time you apply for it. So just check it out. What's going on in where you live. I live, where the business is registered. I'm sorry, not where you live. Where business is registered. Minatoku is like a interesting place. Yeah, there are courses, but they allow you to go to see a business advisor, and the business advisor approves your business is good enough. Your business plan is good enough after an interview. He can give you the certificate right there, just one time. They can do that. So Minatoku is a good word, municipality. Okay, any other questions? If you don't have any?
Kanai-san, we have one question about your fees. How much is the range of the consultant fee to get the grant, and is it paid upfront or after success?
Fee structure, about the contract. my arrangement is very, very similar to other consultants in Japan. You can go to there's some differences, but you usually ask for initial fee, startup fee, and for small business is going to be something like 50,000 yen, and a success fee when you are approved for the subsidy, you will be billed 10 to 20%. My rate is 15% if you do it only one single standalone basis. But I have a 6 month contract to do 2 or 3 subsidies and business loans, 50,000 yen a month for 6 months. You can ask me any questions on a demand basis or weekly meetings to prepare what are the best subsidies and what's coming up. And I help you preparing business plans and bank loans and so forth. The best part, I think, is that we can talk about how to prepare your business plans and what kind of things you can do with those amounts and so forth. And this is really a good part of doing, working together. Yeah. More on the business advisory, project management side, rather than just, application preparation. If you select the 6 months project, my success fee will be 10%. Some consultants don't ask a startup fee, but usually they ask 20% success fee if they don't ask for initial fee. I think that's very basic or very normal fee structure. Okay, anything else?
We have one more question, Kanai-san.
Yep.
Is the whole process and application English friendly? Which kind of information are needed? You said 1 or 2 months of preparation is needed. Is that correct?
Yeah, it really depends. Once we go into a contract, start working together, I'm going to send you what we call startup package, what we call a hearing sheet to ask you various questions. It's more like a survey to you. And also I ask you to prepare value proposition canvas, things like that. And once we get all those back completed, we're going to start working on market analysis, something like SWOT analysis, 3Cs, and other analysis that are required by the to be put in the business plan to be attached to the application. So in the process, we can have a lot of discussions, what your business's strengths, weakness, and so forth. It's interesting. When I was talking to the guy, when we were preparing for a small business subsidy and Monozukuri subsidy, I told the guy, we need to put your weakness in your application. He said, no way, I'm not going to put my weakness. Nobody will put weakness in such a thing in the United States. Okay, but we have to do it here. Please understand. That's what. Interesting, right? They want you to understand. They need you to identify your weakness, and it's I think the best application to be approved is that the application includes a good story to tell, and the reviewers the people who likes to read stories, and if they like stories and good story application, not so good story application, they pick good story application. So that's kind of thing that we need kind of have to think about. I think it's also very similar when you are approaching venture capitalists too. They call it like storytelling, or what do you call it? I can't remember. But if you have a good story to tell and it stands out from all other pitches or applications, that's true in a subsidy application too. That's something we really focus on. What kind of story do you have, and so forth, and they like to see the story in your application, in the business plan. Okay. Anything else?
Thank you so much, Kanai-san. Yes, Emil actually is wondering, you said something when it comes to business loans, you said something about a personal guarantor is no longer required or not legal. Would you repeat that part?
Personal guarantee?
Yes, for business
Yeah.
loans.
Yeah. I wrote it in my article briefly, but is that no, I was responding to somebody. No, Will, right? Will's post. I responded to it. I'm going to do another post on that too. 10 years ago, 2013, Japan Bankers Association announced that guidance on personal loan, personal guarantee, they call it management guarantee, and they said that they are going to abandon the custom of requiring business owners to put their personal guarantee. They did it, but it didn't have any legal power. It's not enforceable or anyways. And they had extensive discussions on many cases. What about business successions? The people buying the small business from some other people, or the son of the business owner is kind of pushed to take over his father's business or something, but he doesn't want to succeed the personal guarantee, therefore the succession does not happen. Something like that was really a big issue to the Japanese government. So that was an issue in the banks too, and the government finally 2023 legalized, made it a law saying that banks cannot enforce or force business owners to put personal guarantees. If they ask for it, they have to say why. Also, for those business loans with personal guarantee already in place, when the business owners ask to remove it, they cannot just say no. When they say no, they have to explain why not. That's the law now. That's the law. So if you have a loan with a personal guarantee, go back to your bank and tell them to remove it. And if they say no, they have to explain it. And also, it is required, it's legally required for the banks to put their statement about personal guarantee in their homepage, in their website. So if they don't, they're in trouble. But I think all the banks say something about it somewhere. So that's the law. That's the law. Not many, even the Japanese business owners don't know. And at the time, like last year, when I went to JFC to talk about my business loan in the near future, they didn't know either. A lot of the bank officers didn't know because it was so new. But anyways, it is a law. And nowadays, I think any bank officers know the fact that, it is illegal to enforce. Okay, that's how it is.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that, Kanai-san.
Yeah. But, they might require collateral or something because of your financial situation. They can always say no because of your financial situation or, credit worthiness or something. That's a different story.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Emil, for the question and for tuning in. Kanai-san, must it be a newly incorporated company? Or can it be a company that's, for example, 10 years old
Right.
to apply for the grant or subsidies or a business loan?
Yeah. It depends on what subsidy, what category you are talking about. When you are applying for a small business subsidy and you want to pick a startup category, it will require you to have the certificate I just talked about. And the certificate is only effective for 5 years. Your company must be incorporated less than 5 years to be qualified as startup company for small business. That's the same to Monozukuri too. Monozukuri has startup. It's not a category. Startup, what I call 加点項目. It's an additional point you can get for the consideration, for the review. It's interesting. When I learned how to prepare subsidy application, I learned from small business consultant, and he told me he used to be a reviewer at for the subsidy, and he said that it's like a university examination. It's you get all the points added up. If you make mistake, if these points are reduced, it's an added point. If you get, at the time, it gets more strict, I think. 60 points you can pass, you get approved. 加点項目 is additional point. If you are on the borderline, and if you have 加点項目, you get more points automatically if you do those kind of items get done. For Monozukuri, it's like a DX certificate you can apply for. You get additional points. Something like that. You have certain policy thing that you do, then they get additional. They want you. The purpose of the subsidy is to incentivize businesses to do something that government want you to do. So that's the reason they give you additional points, and you want to be careful about what they are asking in the subsidy, and if you kind of appeal your businesses really up to the what they are asking for, you get additional points. You get more points for the approval. That's something that you have to be careful. And often case, many, including Japanese businesses, don't care about those additional points or purpose of the subsidy and so forth. What kind of keyword you want to put in, and what kind of things you want to include in the project and so forth. That makes big difference, whether or not you get approval or not.
Thank you so much, Kanai-san.
Sure.
We have One last question. Is the maximum amount of startup subsidy dependent on 지원금? Does it mean that by increasing the base capital, I would technically get more subsidies?
Not usually. It's more about how many employees you have. For example, Monozukuri, if you have, before that, a small business subsidy, your employee must be 5 or less, right? For service. And for manufacturing, 20 or less to be considered small business. SMEs is small, but SMEs is like 100 people or 200 people, depending on what category you're talking about. But in order for for the company to be considered small business, the number of employee and capital are considered. So once you are considered small business or SME, then it's just a matter of how many employees you have, how much, max amount you get. It only depends on the number of employees usually. And as far as new or existing company, for example, startup category for small business subsidy, they want you to start a new business. That's the purpose of the small business subsidy, the big purpose of the small business. So even if you are starting out as an employee and you have a plan to start a business and so forth, yeah, you can apply for the small business, like freelancers can apply for a small business subsidy. And if your business plan is good, and if you are starting out with a good business, you get approved. And after that, you can incorporate and you can transfer the approved subsidy into the new corporation. You can do something like that. And business restructuring subsidy, which gets harder and harder to get approved, is the purpose of the business restructuring subsidy is to help businesses struggling because of COVID. It started out when COVID started, after the COVID started. So the purpose of the business restructuring subsidy is to help companies losing money in a red ink and turn around. It's more like a turnaround subsidy. So, losing money, fine. They ask for what kind of percentage your sales decreased. That's the condition of applying for business restructuring subsidy. It's interesting. It's, the condition, it doesn't include, it has to be, making, profit making business, or it's not like that. It's more of, increasing sales, or, turning around, or increasing wages. Those are the big things for the government. Starting out the new business. And that's a big thing too. Very interesting, right?
Does anyone have any other questions? Kind of like an open round. Right now we are fewer people. Feel free to turn on the cameras, ask ahead. We both are here, Kanai-san and I.
Yeah. We have prepared 17 questions. ChatGPT gave us 17 questions, but they are not interesting. Anything you want us to answer, we're up to that. That's a boring questions. Now, many of them I already answered in the presentation.
Kanai-san, I have actually a question just off the top of my head. So
Yeah.
if I start, let's say, 2 companies at the same time, And on paper, I am the only Daikyo Yakuin. Can I apply for 2 subsidies at the same time for 2 different companies?
Is it possible?
Yes.
Yeah.
So they don't check my name and think like, oh, this guy
Yeah,
only
it's
wants
company by
money,
company, business
Okay.
based. So, same business person establish a new company to start a new business. That's fine.
Okay.
But at the same time, if you do a transaction between those 2 companies, that's not good. That's not considered as transaction. Look, that's a big related company transaction, right? So you're moving money from right pocket to the left pocket.
Yes.
So that's considered not good. And somebody asked me, what is the percentage of ownership to be considered as a related company? Nothing is written in the rules. But I think like a tax rule or accounting rule will probably apply. And I asked them and said that, if it's more than 50%, yeah, it's generally considered, related. And less than that, it's great. It's 20% or less, probably not. And 20 to 50 is a great point. So if you're a startup company and, co-founders on, small percentage, it's not related transaction. So when we think about whether or not the payment is considered outsource, outsourcing the service to business owners owning less than 20%, in that concept should be considered non-related transaction. Therefore, it's considered outsourced expense, right? This is kind of picky point, but these are the things that we consider when we prepare the application. These are interesting, right? Now, these are the kind of things that I always worked on when I was an auditor or tax accountant.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. Pascal, yes, please.
Oh, yes, Kanai-san,
Yeah.
thank you for this great webinar. Really, really helpful. Do you have any experience with subsidies from NEDO? Because we have applied for, or at least, well, we've had meetings with NEDO about their Green Innovation Fund, because we have a biogas startup in Japan. But so it's a very interesting program, and we thought we might be eligible. But in the meeting, actually, the way we perceived it was, we are not a Japanese technology company. We are mainly importing the engineering from overseas, so it's from Germany in this case, and we are adapting to the Japanese market. So it's not a genuine Japanese company and not a technology that might revolutionize from Japan. So it's not a. So they asked us, for example, what's the projection for your global sales? And that's not our objective. We want to enter the Japanese market. So do you have any experience with NEDO?
No, not at this point. I was once asked for energy generating power project, but I did not act on the NEDO at this point. But what I can tell you is that the NEDO is really, really what do you call it? Government policy oriented organization. So they have specific purpose of developing Japanese business or Japanese technology in Japan. Probably they want to say, but don't say, is that by Japanese.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think there are ways, if you can show that it is a benefit and it is a contribution to developing the technology in Japan, because Japan cannot, especially like a wind power and so forth, Japan just don't have the technology to manufacture, those fans and everything, right? They had to import. And, if you are intending to localize the technology, if you can emphasize and make them understand that, there are ways like that.
Yeah.
If you say that you just want to sell and make the profit, outside of Japan, then I don't think they would like it. But I think there are ways, especially when you partner up with Japanese, companies, JVs or whatever, and also like universities or whatever. I think that's how it can be done. But I don't have experience, so I cannot tell you.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, probably we need to present it in a different way. So the story is probably the most important thing.
I think that's why they ask you, globally how big you are, what kind of sales you have, and so forth, because they had no other things to ask you, because you are not talking about the contribution or
of course, we want to contribute to
that localizing it.
Yeah, we need to show it that the profits stay here or reinvested in Japan also. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Sure. Okay. Any other
はい。
things?
やすしさん、どうぞ。
Okay. Release the microphone, please.
Oh, sorry. I think you guys are talking to me, right?
Yes, nice. Okay, nice. We can hear you. Okay.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, I wrote messages in the chat, but how is the percentage of the amount of subsidies will be decided to Monozukuri subsidies? So I see like 1 of a third or 2 of a third kind of thing.
Okay, let me show you what I'm gonna have to. Monozukuri 補助金 and dealer portal. Here we go. This is number of applications. 10,000, 4,000. These are the number of applications. And these numbers are passing rate. Average.
Okay.
You can be much better or much worse. Right? So like, these are the times when the COVID was going on, or these COVID was going on. So there are a lot of applications, 10,000 per application period. There are 3 or 4 application period opening up. So you see how many thousands of Japanese companies are getting Monozukuri subsidies, right? And also, this is interesting right here. These are the additional points, number of additional points, additional items, additional things that you pick and choose to add to your application. 0 passing rate is 33%. If you add up 1, 2, 3, 4, passing rate goes up to 60%. 6 or more, 100%. This is kind of funny, but so you want to add those 加点項目, additional points in addition to the business plan or minimum document requirements. These are the kind of things we usually take a look at and recommend, in addition to just working on the application itself.
I see. So I'm just guessing like it takes longer period of time for doing like 6 applications, I guess.
Yeah,
But
some are easy.
100%.
Some are easy. Some are, it takes time, like 3 months or something.
Okay.
Yeah, apply for it. You have to wait for it. You have to amend the application and so forth. So that's additional work you have to do. But if you want to really pass, just work on it or have or make the advisor work on it, in time for the application.
I see.
So also, where is it? Right here. Yeah, this is where 中小企業庁 SME agency announced right here, right? Dated today, Monozukuri is announced today. IT Implementation Subsidy just announced today. New, right? IT Implementation Subsidy right here. I just showed you.
Yeah.
This is the newest. This is the next IT Implementation Subsidy coming up. These are really, really hot topic, new things going on.
Okay, thanks.
Sure.
I have one more question. Small business subsidy, what is it in Japanese?
It's sales channel development for small businesses and startup companies, really the small ones. There are many, say like a Italian restaurant in Kawagoe City in Saitama during the COVID period wanted to renovate their restaurant and start delivery for their customers or something. They use small business subsidy to renovate their restaurant and developed new dishes or new bento for for customers to pick and take home or something.
What is the name of this subsidies in Japanese?
In Japanese, 小規模事業者持続化補助金。
小規模事業者。
I just wrote it in the chat.
Oh,
if that
thank you.
helps.
Yeah, that's perfect. Thanks.
Okay. Any other things? We can go on and on, but this is a free session, so ask questions and you get the answer.
If anyone wants to ask Kanai-san one-on-one, we will also provide a calendar link where you can
I'm going to follow
consult
up,
with
but
him.
we didn't talk about it, but we'll have free sessions opening up. I didn't talk about it. I should have. So set up a free session with me. I'm going to send you a link and we can have a discussion. Many of you already had discussions, but 30-minute free discussion, and I can provide you detailed information about your issues or businesses, right? So please ask me questions and let's talk about what we can do for your business. Okay? Okay.
Okay. Kanai-san, I think that's it. No one else is asking questions.
Okay.
I will be around. I think we will also provide the participants with a white paper, the Q&As and all the informations with the post-event email, probably in about 2 days.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Max. Sum up.
Yep.
All right.
Thank you, everyone, for
So
joining.
let's work together to make your business accelerate, and everyone will be happy. And also, it's close to the, oh yeah, I talked about seasons present, and I'm gonna, okay, I didn't have time to talk about it, so I'm gonna send you with an email along with the link for the consultation. Okay. Great.
Amazing.
Thank
Kanai-san,
you.
thank you so much
Thank you, Niels.
for your time. Okay.
Eric, thanks a lot. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Yeah, good night.
Yeah, thanks so
Merry
much.
Christmas.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Talk to you later, everyone. Bye-bye.